about our age, though.
Yeah.
Welcome. Over the Top Sports Edition with your boy HD here with the Over the Top Sports crew. We start with Q. What's going on, bud? What's going on, Q?
Happy Pride Month. Happy Draft Night. Victor went number 1. Is anyone surprised? No,
I'm not. Playmaker, what's the deal, buddy?
Not much, man. Just trying to maintain. How you doing?
Right. I'm chilling. RJ, what's going on?
Hey, man, chilling. Watching aspects of this draft and trying to understand, man, these trades are like fast and furious.
Yes, sir. Try to get them in. And last but not least, Big Beal. What's the deal, Beal?
Man, what's going on? Trying to catch up to the madness.
I know. Hey, I thought we were done with basketball, but I guess some explosiveness happened in the last 24 hours that made this thing interesting. Let's start with some of these trades, man. Who first? We'll talk about the they go from the morning. Who was it? Boston.
let me get all the
That was
trades.
the first one.
From June 18th, Wizards send Beal to Phoenix. Wizards get Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, multiple second-round picks, and multiple pick swaps. The Suns get Bradley Beal, Jordan Goodwin, and Isaiah Todd.
Well, let's start there. Do that make the Suns a championship contender or no?
No.
Anybody?
No. Well, it gives them first off, it gives them 4 people who make $100 million. So no bench. They trade their big man, and who's their backup? Because knowing the Suns, they're not going to trade for another big man. They're going to trade for a point guard or for a bench. At this point, there's way too many holes in the Suns for you to think a 35-year-old, a 30-year-old, and a 25-year-old are going to get you to the playoffs.
Well, they had expectations of KD when he first came to Phoenix to run the chip. Why the expectations changed with Beal? Anybody?
Oh, no. Okay. Second round exit still. Same thing's going to happen.
Anybody else? What you think? Why the expectations high, G?
Well, I think the expectations were higher last year because the Suns had a team. And then when Kevin came, the team left, and it was just Kevin and Booker. So I think everybody's looking at, like Q said, how are they going to fill out the rest of the roster in order to play 80 games to play 80 games and make it to the playoffs. I think that's the question everybody has is how are they going to fill out the rest of their roster?
Who they lost? They lost Paul, Shaman, who else?
Well,
multiple second round picks and multiple pick swaps.
Okay.
But it was evident during the playoffs that they needed a bench, and they haven't addressed that yet. So I think everybody's still waiting to see how they're going to address that.
Got you. I'm going with you, Best. Boston, a winner or a loser?
Boston. We ain't got the Boston yet.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who's next, Quentin? I'm sorry. I
thought you were asking about Suns and Wizards.
Okay, well, we got the Suns. So they're talking about the Wizards. The Wizards a winner anywhere?
Man, listen, I don't even understand why that trade happened. I do not understand it.
I mean you got
getting rid of some stuff.
We haven't got there yet.
To me, Beal and Booker are the same. They're the same.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I'm not saying it can't work. I just don't understand it and whatnot.
Well, I mean, who they need a point guard now, though, don't they?
Well, okay, hold on. Okay, let me get to the rest of the Wizards picks since we're still talking about the Wizards. The Wizards trade Kristaps Porzingis, the 25th pick, and a 2024 first-round pick, which is the Golden State's top 4 protected. And they get Tyus Jones, Danilo Gallinari, Mike Muscala, in a 2023 second-round pick. And the Grizzlies get Marcus Smart. And then a couple hours ago, the Warriors get Chris Paul, the Wizards get Jordan Poole, a 2030 first-round pick that's top 20 protected, and the second-round pick in 2027. Oh, and they traded up to and they traded up in the draft to draft Jarsey Walker. Yeah, no. Who's I don't even know how you say that name. Bilal Koulibaly,
Okay.
which is a
Bio
guard. So they
Candios.
drafted another guard.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Hey, Ron, what you think, man? These your boys. What they doing now? What they doing in Washington?
Um,
What they doing?
as constituted, they couldn't win a championship, so I understood that. If they would have brought everybody back, it still would have been an arduous journey. It would have been, but it's a decent team if everybody plays. I think a lot of what's going to happen with Bill is he's going to be motivated to play because it's going to be probably the best team he's been on in his life. And he's not going to be, except for those teams with a young John Wall, like they were really good, they were really competitive. But I think they're gonna. I think the Wizards are going to eventually work it out. I understand what he's doing. Like the GM was brought in to really kind of shake things up, and he's actually done that. He's got rid of Bill's contract, which was horrible. No trade clause and a max deal. He's going to get rid of Kristaps Porzingis, often injured, but a great player. They said he had the best. I think second. If it was the first or the second best 3-point shooting percentage. So Boston wants to shoot threes. I think actually Boston getting Porzingis, they won. I think everybody won to a certain degree, in a sense. The Wizards got rid of a salary. Porzingis goes to a team where they're going to be able to, as a stretch five, and B gonna have problems. And B gonna have, and he gonna give him problems, but then B gonna have problems.
I don't think they're gonna put Embiid on him. I think Embiid gonna stay with
And who they gonna put up? Man, that dude's long. He's 7'3", and he shoots threes at a high clip.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to. And I'm thinking, like when I texted y'all earlier, it's gonna be like Boston's gonna have to think in the terms of 12 to 18 fouls. You're gonna have to be physical with Embiid, make him work. At the same time, Porzingis gonna pull him away from the basket. That's gonna let those guys have. It's gonna let those guys on the wing have work, man. If Jaylen Brown and Tatum can't do it with that cat on their team, man, that's problematic.
Well, I think that's coaching too. I see what with Boston. But I'm gonna go back to the Wizards for last. I'm gonna leave Wizards alone, and Gary or Beck can jump in and answer the question. Do you think Poole? Who is Poole there? Who is Kuzma?
Nope, Kuzma's a free agent. He declined his player option.
Oh, so that answered my question. No, they're not gonna make the playoff.
Kuzma want to go back to. I don't think he wants to play with LeBron again, but I think he wants to go back on West Coast. Can
Jordan Poole lead that team to the playoffs?
No.
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 If they win 25 games, they're doing good.
I mean,
if they win 25 games.
When Draymond punched Poole, he was done.
It's a dude that's on my bed. I'm sorry, bad. Go ahead.
I'm just clowning, but at the end of the day, I get the trade. But Poole, he gotta be there every night. If you get the Poole that played the year they won the championship, then I can see him leading them to the playoffs. But if you get the guy we saw last year, I can see a struggle.
Had that been a 6th man of the year become an all-star in a starting lineup? Because
not a starting lineup.
Poole was a 6th man of the year. Can he go from that to being, the number one option of a team, the Batman? Can he still be Batman?
I mean,
I
I
mean,
think the last person to do that and became Batman was James Harden.
Yeah, he was a sixth man when he came. When he was in Oklahoma City. He did come off the bench.
Yeah, now mind
But-
you, he has won he got his own team, didn't win a championship. Granted, he ran the Golden State every year. So there's only so much you can take from him. Then he went to Brooklyn. That didn't work out. Won the
Well, he went to
76.
Houston first now.
Yeah, I was talking about Houston when they kept running to Golden State.
Yeah.
And then we know it just happened in Philly.
Gee, what do you think about Boston? I mean, one thing that made mass improvements with Porzingis. Are you sold on Porzingis?
I'm not quite sold on him yet. I mean, I was disappointed in some of his stints in Dallas. If he plays like he played in Dallas or the later part of his career in New York, I think he won't finish the season as a starter. But if he has some new energy and stuff like that, I know he's coming off his best season ever, so it may work. But I still don't think they've addressed their size issue as far as someone being down, rebounding, and controlling the paint from a defensive end, a shot blocker. I think all they got is a stretch five, which is in some offense, but I don't think they addressed the rebounding issue or the defense issue that they needed with some additional size.
Shoot, not only did they not address defense, not only did they not address defensive, trading Marcus Smart made their defense worse.
Exactly.
Was that a smart move, Bell? Get rid of Smart?
Pun intended.
No. Here's the thing though. Boston felt like they could because you got
Malcolm.
Yeah, you got Malcolm on the bench, so he was expendable. But from the defensive standpoint, no. But Memphis made a move. They wasn't bringing Dillard back, so it was good for them. But here's the thing,
very smart
and I said this about Marcus Smart years ago. So now I'm really watching. I felt like he was a system player. I felt like Boston was the system that he fit in, and so now we're going to find out: are you that guy? Are you really?
Well, I'm asking you, did he bring him in to play or bring him in to run the locker room? Because Memphis got have a locker room issue.
Marcus Smart is too good not to play.
No, I'm pretty sure he's gonna play, but I'm saying, is this role gonna be more stabilizing that locker room to cut down some of that mayhem?
He's Dylan Brooks with a better handle.
Thank you.
And honestly, he's really a much better Dylan Brooks. Better offense, better defense, give you more hustle.
How long dude been in the league?
Who?
Man, he probably had 10 years. Probably at least 10 plus.
Has he ever been an all-star?
No, but that's not his game.
But I'm saying it's like
he's always been like a tough wing defender. That's more of what he does. He's like a Bruce Bowen, but he scores better.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying? He's not like.
Go ahead.
He's just a better scorer. And so when you look at his game, but see, here's the thing that's really different about him versus Bowen. He was tasked with handling the ball and setting up the offense last year. And that's what I didn't think that was his game. But he did a pretty decent job. When he got hurt, they struggled. So, he's a talented ball player, man. He's a talented ball player. He's a lot better than who he's replacing. It's a lot better. I can't even think of that name.
Brooks.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks.
I said that, with Marcus, he's a bit of a hothead. He can kind of be out there. So my question is, are you going to be that mature guy that they actually need in the locker room, or are you just going to come and fall in line with the antics that they already putting up with? If you're going to fall in line, then it's a waste of trade. But if you're going to be that guy,
I think that's why they got him.
Yeah.
Marcus ain't gonna fall on. When people,
he was probably one of the issues in Boston now. I don't think because he's a defensive guy, the coach more of an offensive minded guy. I think there was a lot that probably started a lot of that conflict.
Well, people in Boston
No.
always said
Missoula,
the
man,
hard
I
call
think he
was
needs
Marcus
to.
Smart.
I think the one thing that's really tough about that, like, I don't know much about basketball in terms of offensive sets, but I know when people get open and they have open shots. And a lot of what was happening with them when they trigger the ball, up the court and they starting their offense, there wasn't a lot of wide open shots. Some guys were making their own shots. And when you start looking at that in the NBA and you hunting shots, you're going to have problems with scoring, especially if you're a jump shooting team. And that's kind of what, like Stephen A said some years ago. He's like, listen, man, everybody's shooting jump shots. Now, but everybody's not like Golden States. Everybody can't shoot like them, bro. So the modern NBA, like you just saying, look, everybody wants to be Steph Curry, but the first 5 or 6 picks, they said none of them really could shoot jump shots. None of them. Think about what I'm saying. They all said they were athletic, long wings. That's AAU.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
What other trades we got? Yeah, I see what you said. That's a valid point. Ain't a lot of jump. What other trades we got? We're gonna talk about the Golden State Chris Paul.
What's they talking about?
Is it them? I mean, I don't know. Does it make them better? Make them worse? What your thoughts, G?
Well, I think it makes them better. Golden State is looking to win right now. They're looking. They're not looking about 5 years from now. They're looking to win right now while they got their core intact. Chris Paul frees up some money, so they get that aspect of with the trade, and then you get a veteran player who's going to find his way within the system. They actually don't really need him, but anything that he can give them would be a help. So I think it was a good trade. Poole, like everybody said earlier, Poole did not return this year with the same upside that he had the previous year, and I think that Golden State didn't think that he was going to get back to where he was, so they made the move, cleared up some money, got a player that they think they can win with now, and they're running.
Bad, that make him a championship contender.
No. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I feel like, okay, Draymond just opted out. So, and Draymond is a huge part of that team. So my thing is, I feel like they made that trade to say, hey, Dre, look, we still trying to, we're relevant here. And it's like they trying to be more appealing to him. But the trade is done. If Draymond don't sign back, so who's your bully now? Because whether people want to admit it now, admit it or not, Golden State has survived off a bully, in a sense, off of Draymond Green. Yeah, they hit shots and whatnot, but he's a huge part of that team. So I think
LeBron said he want to go to Golden State.
Who?
Bron.
When he say that? When he say it?
He said that sometime. What was it? An interview. He mentioned he want to go to Golden State.
I don't believe that.
I heard Draymond say something that was real deep. He said, I realized mid-season, he said there was a situation and circumstance happened where I would have screamed on everybody about our defense adjustments and making sure that we were in position. And because I had hit Jordan, he said I couldn't do it. He said, one of the reasons why they got pulled out of that locker room, because I guess at a point in time, he was becoming toxic.
Yeah, he was a cancer.
And once he got his money, it was over. It was over. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But so I guess that'll
he run this joint.
Then another piece though. If LeBron leave, who do you get? Who you go get?
Draymond not leaving. Draymond not leaving, man. I think he's gonna resign. They're just gonna give him that bread. They're gonna give him that bread. You know what I'm saying? Because they know they need him. They know they need him to trigger the offense at points and times. He creates a mismatch. He brings big people away from the rim to afford them the opportunity to move in the baseline. And you know what I started thinking about when we were having this conversation last week? How small the court gets when those athletes are on it in the playoffs. Like, we not even really realizing how good these dudes are and how long they are, man. Man, they extraordinarily built. It's just different.
Something we're not forgetting. Something people are forgetting is if you think Chris Paul and Steph Curry are going to be a 1 and 2, who are they going to guard? Sometimes is there a guard in the West that either of those two are going to be able to guard? Because we all know Chris Paul is on the
backcourt though.
It's a small backcourt, and it's a backcourt that's small, not very athletic, and not very good on defense.
Gee, you talking about Chris Paul got to run the pick and roll. Who Golden State got to run the pick and roll with him?
Well, before that, let me go back to what Q said. It's not much different when they had Poole, Curry, Clay, Wiggins, and Draymond on the floor at the same time. That wasn't their starting lineup, but that was their lineup when they were trying to speed up the game and catch up. So I don't think that'll be the starting lineup per se, but I think they'll make some quality minutes for Chris Paul, because I think they don't want to have Steph to run 40 minutes a night anyway.
Counterpoint: if you think Austin Reeves who was searching for Curry in the postseason, if you thought what he did to Curry was bad, what he's gonna do to a 37-year-old Chris Paul?
You give Austin Reeves a lot
Chris
of credit.
Paul gonna play 20, man. Chris Paul gonna play 20 minutes. They're gonna play 20 minutes. They're gonna do to him just like I said. They're gonna basically save his legs for the playoffs.
So he's coming off the bench.
For the playoffs.
So
he's gonna come off the bench.
Well, you would think we gotta see what Clay gonna do. If Clay come in skipping and hopping, you may have to start him. If Clay don't come in ready, because you done got rid of Poole, who else you got?
I think Paul will come off the bench. I think Paul, at this point in his career, knows that he's not who he used to be, and he'll say, "Okay, let me absorb. Let him observe the game, and then come in and pick his spots."
And that's why. And that's why he wanted either one of the LA teams, because he could still be a starter. There's no way he's gonna go to the Lakers and LeBron not petition for him to be the starter. There's no way. There's no way that he's gonna go to the Clippers.
He just need tailored minutes, man. The one thing that's really bad about it, some people are their own worst enemy. And so you got to really look at you can't play no more than, man, a 48-minute game. You need to play somewhere in a spurt of maybe about 25 to 30 minutes. 25 really should max you out. And if you do that every night, he's not the type of, because I ain't never seen him just take rest and don't play back to backs. So that's a lot of the problem. Like, you really got to look at that part of it. If they do that, then you sitting pretty, and it's a different environment to me. I think he's still, when the game slows down, the athletes are better, coaches are better, and they know how to cut the court in half, and you playing half court offense, half court defense. He's still one of the best players in the league, man.
Okay, we'll still have it. So
he still needs somebody to run that pick and roll with, because everybody they got now, they may be fumbling the ball. He try to do the pick and roll with Golden State, so they do need to find.
I'm telling you right now,
they do mostly motion offense though. That's the difference between them.
But if you bring in Chris Paul,
there's no pick and roll players on their team.
So you gotta remember, Steve Kerr is still a very good coach. If you remember when they had Curry starting, and then they brought Sean Livingston off the bench, they used to run post-up plays for Sean Livingston. So if they bring Chris Paul off the bench, they'll probably run pick and roll, and they'll probably either run it with Kevon Looney. I think they have another center that they can do it with, or they're gonna draft a center.
Wiggins.
Looney.
Well, I think they'll
it's
do it with
Kuminga.
Kuminga.
I think it's
Ain't
Kuminga.
nobody scared of a 6'8", 210 picker.
Ain't nobody worried about Looney running the pick and roll neither. We gonna fall back
Looney
and dare him to
averaged
shoot
like
that jumper.
Looney
We
averaged
gonna
like
fall back
20
and dare him to
rebounds in the
shoot that, buddy.
postseason. Looney
Huh?
averaged
I
like 20
don't
rebounds
think
in the
Looney
postseason.
has the hands for it. I
Yeah.
don't think he has the hands.
I
He's
mean,
a
you
good
gotta think about
rebounder. I don't think he's a good. Go ahead.
think about this, playmaker. What do you think about the skill set of Clint Capella?
I got a better question. What do you think about the skill set
Capella's
of
not
DeAndre
a great
Jordan?
scorer, right?
But he can
Same
catch the
thing with
ball.
DeAndre Jordan. The same thing with DeAndre Jordan. But if you throw it up, most of those guys can catch lobs. Or if you give them, like they're gonna learn each other. They're gonna have a full training camp to learn each other. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean,
We'll see.
I just can't see Looney doing it. I can see Kuminga doing it, and yeah. I
One
guess we'll
thing we
see.
know about Kayvon Looney, if that ball goes up in the air, he's getting it.
A rebound. He's gonna be looking for the rebound, not to catch a lob and do anything with it.
So guess what? He gonna jump up and get it, come down with it, and just jump up again and dunk
That's
it.
a lot. That's a lot. Now you on the free throw line. So I mean, Chris Middleton turned down a $40 million option. Bad, where he going? Where he going?
He getting out of Milwaukee.
Okay, but what he gonna do now and do what? He retiring? Who gonna pick that up?
Man, see, here's the thing.
Who
And
gonna pick
it's
Chris Middleton up?
solely on me. Maybe I just look at it kind of twisted. But these guys have this one great season, two great seasons, and then they want to test the waters. My thing is, somebody's not telling them the truth, man, and whatnot. And you just got to tell the truth. Bro, you had 2 good seasons. You've been in the league forever. You're not that guy.
Shoot, he's coming off an injury.
yeah.
I think the issue, though, honestly, like the year before before the year they won the championship, he was closing a lot of their games. Like he was the closer for that team. So there needs to be some acknowledgement of his skill set, but there also needs to be acknowledgement of how old he is. And
well, they gave him that option $40 million. He turned it down, bro. They get rid of him. He
want a long-term deal.
But here's the thing, guys. I don't think they got a new coach, so they're gonna have a new offensive system. So how are they gonna feature him and Giannis? Giannis gonna get his. They're gonna set that thing up to work for him. How does he fit in the mold? And that's why a lot of those guys go ahead and opt out.
But
you know what I'm saying?
There is no other way. Name me a team that you can put that Milton fit on.
At 40 mil, not many.
Yeah, for the money he want, not many. What I will say is there is currently a vacancy on the bench in Denver because Bruce Brown also denied him.
You know what I can see him going and making an impact, and I think those teams could come up and be decent. Charlotte.
Now, Charlotte,
yeah, he can get buried in Charlotte. Yeah, but I don't know if he's gonna win anything.
I think they'll be. I think they're. Huh?
Charlotte just drafted Brandon Miller.
I don't. I think Melo, Rozier.
They just got that kid from Alabama tonight.
Brandon Miller.
I think he would have. I think he would have an impact there. I think he could have an impact. Like if they wasn't doing the fire sale in Atlanta, I think he could have an impact in Atlanta. But the other team I'm thinking about, y'all gonna think I'm crazy for saying this, but I think they're on the cusp of being a decent team. And I like their star. Daggone Orlando. Bencaro can go. Youngin can go. No, you got like people forgot Markelle Fultz is a highly skilled point guard who lost his highly skilled.
Not just him. They got Franz Wagner and Mo Wagner who both can go.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm thinking like, I just trust, but man, I trust Ben Carroll more than I trust any young player. That's including Cade Cunningham. Everybody kept talking about how good Cade was. Cade only played 12 games. The games I seen, he do play like them dudes. You know, they got slow crossover and all that, but they're effective at scoring. But I don't know. We're gonna see.
He
We're
can
gonna
go
see.
to Philly,
You said
especially if
that
they
Not
give
for
him
earlier.
a
that,
hard.
not for that money though. They shedding salary. Not for that
But
money.
you
That
gotta
would be
get rid of.
good.
You gotta get rid of Harden. That's a slow back. That's a
Wait.
slow
I'm
front
about
court.
to say,
Harden is Harden. I think Harden is gonna opt out, y'all. I think he either opting out or but he's a free agent. He can go wherever he want to go.
But could
and
you imagine
also
Harden and Middleton in the backcourt? That is a
not just
slow
that,
backcourt, buddy.
not just that.
That's
Harden
slow.
and Middleton as a backcourt, and then your three is Tobias Harris.
Oh boy, that's slow.
They're trying to get rid of that contract too.
How do you coach that? How you coach?
They're trying to get rid of that
Very
contract.
slow.
Very slow, buddy.
Who the head coach? Nick Nurse, right?
Yep, Nick Nurse.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work, Jack.
Brown's
Nick
the other one that opted out. He get one.
You know what?
He get one championship run. He wanna bet on this. Who gonna take up Bruce Brown's slot? Where he going?
You want to talk about someone who can fit in Orlando?
I didn't see enough of the. I didn't see enough of him play, man. So I don't know.
Well, he was balling out in Brooklyn. He'll get some runs. Somebody will pick him up.
Who, Bruce Brown?
Yeah, somebody will pick him up.
Listen.
A great defender.
Great defender.
I can always tell when Beverly to give me one. Listen,
A great defender gave you 17
These
off the
guys
bench
gotta
in the
stop
finals.
listening to their family members. Your family gonna hype you. Brown got off in the playoffs this year. He did. But I guarantee you, his summer will consist of drinking champagne, waiting on that ring, and not working as hard as he can.
Yeah.
No, I just don't believe. And listen, if he proved me wrong, I'll say, hey, he proved me wrong. But dude should have opted in or stayed where he was at because he fit. You know, listen, these guys got to be honest with themselves. When you win, when they win a championship and you play a role in that championship, that means you fit. You fit, dog. Stay.
Yeah.
Well, you got to look at it from the business perspective. You just won a championship. You were playing basketball while everybody else was sitting at home. Now you're trying to maximize your earning potential now. So he's just trying to maximize his earning potential.
Again, he's not
And
one
you
of
know
the
what?
He's a solid player.
Hey, but y'all gotta understand this point, man. Essentially, man, Slim a 1099 employee. He an independent contract. So you get what you
you get what you pay. You gotta.
But here's
you
the
get
thing,
what you produce.
I get all of that. But my thing is, as soon as you move on, you get the nice little contract, you get more money, and then you start stinging up the joint, and in a couple of years, they waving you. Come on, man.
Jordan Poole. Hey, Jordan Poole.
Hey, but you know what though? Think about this, guys.
Example, Jordan Poole.
But Jordan got his money though. He got his money the next 4 years.
I think you know what I think about this though. The number one goal is to get a championship, but we got guys that are elite that don't have championships. So he got one. So I can see him holding out for the money he wants. Like he could go somewhere with he could go be a second line point guard somewhere like Sacramento. And Sacramento, because they got young stars, can give him more money.
He do good in Sacramento, okay?
You know what I'm saying? Like think about that. Like
love him down in Sacramento.
Huh?
Papa love him down there. Not Sacramento.
No, I said Sacramento. I said
this is San Antonio, but Sacramento. Papa love him down there in San Antonio. Defensive minded player. That's right up his alley. So Paul George rumored to go to the Knicks.
I said it before.
Who they gonna trade? Who they giving up to get him?
That's a good question.
They gonna get they trying to get rid. Well, I think they get ready to run your boy out of town. What's that boy name?
Probably RJ.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something.
And Barrett need to go. I ain't say need to go, but you can upgrade what Barrett doing. And RJ Barrett.
You can trade RJ Barrett or Julius Randle.
RJ's still a young player, man. What's the name is who he is, man. I hate to say that, but
Trade
Uh,
Julius Randle.
Yeah, Randall, man. I'm gonna tell you something. I got a lot of respect for him because he did work on his game. He got better. When he came in the NBA, I thought he was just gonna be like a low post player, a wing player, and he expanded his range.
Ooh.
But him expanding his range and also having a level of maturity, that's problematic, man. His maturity not there. That's a concern for me when I look at it.
Yeah.
And the
So-
problem he does. Julius Randle also does not have a right hand. Remember in playoffs this year and playoffs last year. Same thing with Jaylen Brown. You force them to their offhand and they can't do anything with it. With that being said, a tandem of Jalen Brunson and Paul George, I think, will be great.
I think that's solid.
I don't think it's great. I think it would be nice. It'll make them
Still
better.
need another piece though. You still need another piece.
It'll make them better. But
And that's because
I just look at the Clippers and I shake my head. Dude came in with all the hype, and it's like, and he was making mad moves. He get Kawhi in that little free agency sweepstake, but it's like, dude, you're almost flatlining. You building this brand new arena or whatever. I don't know.
Well. I think they pick quality players, but they pick players that get injured and they like the load manage.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, how many times Paul George and Kawhi played for 4 seasons together?
I don't think y'all realize. I don't think we forget how catastrophic his ankle injury was. That was catastrophic.
Oh yeah, I'm not ever down on Paul George when he sits.
Yeah.
He for him to be playing at that level still, that's real.
What about Kawhi?
Yeah, that was catastrophic. And then
Kawhi
needs to retire. He can retire.
Hey, Kawhi, man, honestly, man, just looking at him, he's not gonna be like your typical person. And I think he's one of those dudes that, a hell of to me, he's a basketball savant. Like he can really be. If he played enough, he could be a top 75 player.
What your thought is?
Well, he's already top 75, isn't he?
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
He better not be.
I don't think so.
Wait, are you talking about all time or?
Yeah. I'm talking about all time. I'm talking about like
he may have been called out in that listing.
He may have been on that list because for one time he had a good run with Toronto. He had a good run with
San Antonio.
Can we?
Yeah, I mean he got.
I'm just saying. Who was that in the? He locked up. Didn't he lock up Giannis? He locked up Giannis when they played Milwaukee. They beat Embiid in there, and Embiid, that's the year they really should have won, and they lost him that fluky ass shot, right? Dude, he has the ability to lift his level and elevate his level of play at that time if he's healthy. But I think certain things related to basketball don't mean as much to him all the time. And one of the things is really kind of like, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not a big fan of Jordan, but the one thing that set Jordan apart, people don't really realize, like, Jordan was uber talented, but he loved the game. And I don't think these guys love the game like Jordan and Isaiah and those guys in the 80s. And you hear Gil say, like Gil was talking about, he said, man, the 80s was an easy time because everybody was on that booger sugar. However, those guys really love the game. They just started getting money. And when you start getting money, you make bad choices as a young person. I mean, as evidence is Zion, I hate to say that.
Well, I mean, I can't. Well, Zion, a different conversation. Like I say,
I think Zion loves the game only because with Zion's size, he could have played football, but he chose basketball.
Man, if you as big as him, you gonna go be an offensive tackle or defensive end? or you gonna go
No.
play basketball? I'm playing basketball all
Hey,
day long.
first off, he's too athletic.
Unless
He
you
You
probably
know,
secure
my
your
first
depth.
love, my
probably would
first
have been
love
a
is
tight.
football. I mean,
He
I
probably
love
would have
all
been a
three
tight
though.
end. He probably would have been a tight end.
Man, listen, they're gonna do like they told LeBron. Man, you better get your butt off that football field. LeBron out there playing football, man, that was crazy.
At this point,
6'7".
Zion Williams should be banned from all basketball talk until he completes the season.
I agree. Because the only problem Zion got, he's not playing basketball. Get in that, G, what you think?
That ain't
Well,
the
I
only
was going to
problem he
say
got.
Kawhi is part of the 75. He's one of the only 11 active players that was on that 75
is.
list, and he
Okay.
has two rings, and he was MVP twice
Finals MVP.
of the
Finals
finals.
MVP.
So,
We
Okay.
specify Finals MVP and not regular season MVP. He doesn't play enough to win regular season MVP.
no, finals.
Hey, Q, but you can't, like, people, I'm telling you, man, I don't
But that's
think y'all
not the point.
realize.
But
You know
that's
what
true.
he's like. You know what he's like. You know what he's like. If you really ask yourself, like, what he's really like, to me, he's like a thicker, stronger Scottie Pippen. He can guard almost 4 positions. Like at his peak, he can guard and he can score. He gonna get you 25 in key games. Where you find that at?
Well, his talent is not
Okay,
his problem. His
No
problem
one's
is
questioning his talent.
look. I think I'm good, and I say I'm good for jumping Bam, but I think and I want to say I think his thing is I'm not playing every game. You're not gonna tear my body up. But go ahead, pal.
Kawhi is top 75 before Alonzo Mourning.
Well,
How
I
many
think after the
finals
first
MVP?
I mean, Mourning is my man, but man, yeah, he better than Mourning.
At some point,
The only
accolades and
person
stats gotta get factored in.
I don't like that's not on that list is Dwight Howard. Somebody said something that was really dope about Dwight. They said, man, this dude was, I think, the league MVP, all NBA first team like 7 times or something like that.
Like all defensive and first team All NBA, like 7.
Yeah,
I know he's first team All Defense like 7 straight times.
but I'm just saying.
Top that list at 50. Because after that last 25, you just throwing names in there, dude.
I just got a lot of names.
I
I got a lot of names. Like, I just feel like, yeah, Kawhi is good, but it's a lot of names from the past. Like Gary Payton, he's not on the list. Huh?
Yeah, Gary is. I think Gary is.
I thought he
Gary's
was
in there.
too.
Gary's in
Pull
there.
that list up.
I
think
can't.
he's in there.
My phone ain't connected to the internet. Oh wait,
Hold
no,
on. Let me see.
You know that list up?
it
Let's
connected
just
now.
pull that list a little bit. Because I think that after the first 50, strong. After 50, but we got a lot of question marks out there. Now we got,
Thank God for Andrew
James
T.
Harden on the list, and we got AD on the list, and we got cats who ain't really who's a good
All right,
talent.
I'm gonna read the list. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Ray Allen, Giannis we know Giannis. Carmelo Anthony, Nate Archibald, Paul Auzin, that's the old school. Charles Barkley, Rick Barry, Elgin Baylor, Dave Bean, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain, Bob Cousy, Dave Cowens, Billy Cunningham, Stephen Curry, Clyde Drexler, Tim Duncan, Kevin Durant, Julius Erving, Patrick Ewing, Walt Frazier, Kevin Garnett, George Gervin, Hal Greer, James Harden, John Havlicek, Elvin Hayes, Allen Iverson, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Sam Jones, Michael Jordan, Damian Lillard, Jerry Lucas, Karl Malone, Moses Malone, Pete Maravich, Bob McAdoo, Kevin McHale, George Mikan, Reggie Miller, Earl Monroe, Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki. I don't know about Steve.
Yes.
Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Robert Parrish, the Chief, Chris Paul, Gary Payton, Scottie Pippen, Willis Reed, Oscar Robertson, David Robertson, Dennis Rodman, Bill Russell, Dolph Schayes, Bill Sharman, John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, Nate Thurman, Wes Unseld, Dwayne Wade, Bill Walton, Jerry West, Russell Westbrook, and Lenny Wilkins.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. You missed. I don't know if your list cut off, but you missed like the bottom row because I got two. Y'all got Anthony Davis, Dave DeBusschere, Jason Kidd, Kawhi
David
Leonard.
Bushra. Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, it did cut off the bottom.
Pettit,
Bob Pettit, Dominique
Paul
Wilkins. I
Pierce.
missed Dominique Wilkins.
Bob Pettit, Paul Pierce, Dominique Wilkins, and James Worthy.
Paul Pierce, James Harden, Steve Nash.
Man.
I don't know about Paul Pierce.
Woo,
Hey,
the truth.
that daggone, the best clip of all time. I told y'all that day we was talking about Michelle Beadle. Michelle was like, "Oh yeah, 3 beats 1."
hey, you might have put Joker. You might put Joker up there 9. I mean, if you want to go ahead and you
I mean, two-time MVP, Finals MVP, and the championship.
James Harden.
I put him up there.
There's some people that y'all like on this list that hasn't done that.
Right, Westbrook. He deserves to be on that list.
No.
I got a question. What about your boy Chris Webber? I didn't hear his name.
Chris Webber, Alonzo Mourning.
How many rings did Chris get?
None.
Okay.
How many rings Steve Nash get?
None.
He was the league MVP.
And they were both stolen.
Kyrie name it on that list. Kyrie don't belong on that list.
Hey, I'm gonna go as far as to say this. I know y'all not gonna agree, but if Steve Nash is on the list, then you need to put Byron Scott on the list.
Whoa, okay.
No, you doing too much now, man. Come on, man.
Top 7,500.
Championships.
Are we not talking about the
player?
So here's a question.
But he was a starter he was a starter.
Well, go ahead and throw AC Green in there.
Can I off? So if we're being upset about the newer players in here, can we also be upset about the way back players in here? For example,
ball.
Go ahead, shoot some names out.
I'm looking at Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy was a hell of a player in his room. Man, that dude won, I think, 8 championships.
Okay, I'm looking at any player on this team on this list that didn't play with color television.
You still got to give them their flowers now. I mean,
okay, so like, here's the thing that y'all don't like. This is the thing
I'm gonna draw them out with a pencil.
like, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. John Thompson was a big fan of Elgin Baylor. People never know how great Elgin Baylor was because Elgin never won a championship. But Elgin was an all-time great. And he played at the time when they had black and white. They called him Rabbit. Another player that was a real awesome player, people say Dolph Shades was good. I didn't see a lot of it. Damn, I lost my train of thought for one of the people that I wanted to really big up. Oh, Oscar Robertson. Man, they was like, man, the big O, Joe Basic. But he was the first one to average a triple-double. He daggone near averaged a triple-double during the season. Before Westbrook even thought about that.
Well, I got to understand where Quinn come from. A lot of those. I mean, a lot of those guys are probably not as athletic as the younger, and the game, the evolution of the game. I mean, you look. I do
have a question. I got a question. If you're making a top 50, top 75 list, what is the criteria?
Good answer. Good question.
I mean, do they have
to have a certain
amount of rings, a certain amount of MVPs, a certain amount of points, rebounds? What's the criteria?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something.
That's a good question.
When I look at like when you hear pros talk, pros know pros. And so when they look at guys, they look at them and they rate them differently than we do. Like that whole thing with Jordan, oh man, I respect the hell out of Jordan because he's the best winner, but I don't think his era was the best time to play. I think he didn't have a worthy adversary. And it wasn't because he was just so much better than every damn body. Just no, I don't know, man. Like when they talk about being scared, it's basketball, dog. Like I'm scared of some dude basketball, man.
That's
Well,
that's
you
that's
said
what
his
I was
talent
bring
was
up.
there. He just
Huh?
punked them boys. Them boys not grown men. He got punked.
Hank, he's
No, yeah,
supposed to
so
score,
that
man.
that's what I was gonna bring up. Y'all talk about tough 80s when a lot of the people in the video you like to bring up where people were
Hey,
they
I
doing
tell
WWE,
you what,
you getting powerbomb
Vernon Maxwell told there go Jordan. He said, "I'll choke your ass." He was mad. He was
what's
crazy
up
too.
with y'all
Hold
saying
on,
that
hold on.
era was
So,
so
what now?
tough, and it comes out that these players were scared of a 6'6" dude with a 44-inch vert?
Wait. They're
Guys,
scared of because
I mean,
it's mentality. The mentality. Go ahead, Ben. What's your thoughts? What you want to jump in? I know you had a thought.
Oh no, I'm good on that. I was just saying, Vernon Maxwell, one of the coolest dudes ever played in the NBA.
Right. Okay.
Wait.
So what be the criteria for the top 50, sir?
Well, I'm trying to find it now. I'm pretty sure they got it listed somewhere. I haven't found it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's out there.
So you're telling me the rough and tough 90s are scared of a player for what they think he'll do?
What are you talking about?
You said they're scared of Jordan's
well,
mentality.
No. I said that. So I listened to a number of interviews where guys had said that they didn't want to get embarrassed or they didn't want to, because you got to think about this. With the arrival of Jordan came along with Sports Center, so it was different for a lot of the players then versus like in the 80s. In the 80s, the clips that you saw were regional. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if y'all ever heard of this is gonna be wild. George, God dang, what my man name was. He had the sports machine, but he was the first, he was a forerunner in the DC market. And he used to do a 30-minute show where he would have clips of things that happened. So you never saw that.
I used to watch that all the time.
Yeah, you never George Michaels, I think it is George Michael or something like that.
What was his name?
But you didn't see that like until Sports Center came on. I think that was the thing that put stuff over the top, man. And I remember like just being like, dude, I used to be glued to the screen, especially seeing the college basketball. Yeah, that's probably why I didn't make no damn grades in high school. Because I was watching basketball, Georgetown or whatever games I could see in the Big East. You know what I'm saying?
And that's
man, that shit was awesome.
And we sat there and recorded all day long.
Yeah, that shit was awesome, man.
Who that?
Hey, I'm waiting to be asked to be on the podcast.
It's gonna blur. It's blurring.
Is that Paul?
Yeah, that's Paul.
Listen,
I did ask. Hey, fans, we're on YouTube. Paul French wanted who want to bum rush the set. I asked Paul a couple times.
Official right here.
He told me no. Huh?
The best referee right here.
We ain't talking about refereeing the league. Shit, him, buddy.
Let's talk about it. I don't have that much time, man. I just wanted to jump in, man. Enjoy you. All right,
man. Appreciate you.
Man. Take it easy. Come on, bro.
Appreciate you. PK. I mean, he do pretty good, ref. I need to get him on here, back. Get him on here one Thursday. We'll get him on here and chop it up.
I can't keep up with him.
And keep on here and chop it up. Gary, you ever find her on that list?
No, I stopped looking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What list was you looking for?
The criteria for the top 75.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure the criteria is not crazy. It's probably legit. But it's just, when I say names like Alonzo, even Sewell, I mean, those guys put in work, man. To not be
I'm gonna give the young players some credit. They do some of them cats. They don't put in the same work as. Well, no, I'm gonna take that back. Some of them still do. It's some cats that still put in some work in the league.
Name me three.
They still put. No, I mean, but beside the obvious, Steph, LeBron, and KD.
Don't give me LeBron.
He don't put in work.
Don't give me Curry.
I mean, you get me.
Can I say Giannis?
Booker?
Yeah, okay. Booker go in the gym and shoot 500 jump shots and walk out.
He been working on his defense. You got to give him credit. He been working on his
Murray?
defense.
Murray coming to
Murray.
beast out there right
Murray,
now.
Murray had
Okay,
no,
I give you Murray.
like I said, Giannis. If you remember how Giannis came into the league versus how he looks now, does
Okay.
anyone remember how he looked when he came into the league?
You're right.
I mean,
He's real
Hell,
thin.
Embiid.
the game is the
Embiid working on
same.
his game.
Embiid came in overweight, and you see what he looks like now.
And B were to
Well, I
his, he
mean-
were to his weight.
He had
He
to,
wasn't
because
always. He wasn't always overweight in Kansas. He just. I'm telling people. People start looking at him, man. The reason he was getting hurt, he said it was his footwork. And once they improved his footwork, he got a lot better. He ain't had as many injuries.
That's putting in work. And then also he stopped hanging around the 3-point line and said, I need to do damage inside of the paint. So
Stop
he
whining to the rails, falling all over the floor. Hey man, I used to hate to see Embiid play. He'll whine and fall all over the floor and cry.
Did you know what? You know what's crazy?
Oh
He
my
did that.
goodness, dude.
Not only did he
Come
do it in
on.
the playoffs, a majority of the 76ers did that in the playoffs.
But he's gotten better the last couple of years. Which one of them MVP?
and we even talked about Marcus Smart. He came in the league as a defensive guy. Now he running point guard.
Two, Lonzo, say what you want about him being injured. Lonzo changed his whole shooting form. Became a 40% 3-point shooter.
I know, man. It's hard to respect the young fellas. It's hard to respect the young fellas. I understand. I understand the game done changed a little bit from the physicality of the paint. But you know, you do gotta give them a little bit of credit. Do give the young boys a little bit of
I'm gonna give him. Now listen, can some of those guys just shoot the ball and shoot the lights out? Yes, they can and whatnot. It's not even really about the athleticism or anything. It's more or less with me. It's just the game itself. Is the game to me, the way it's played is boring. I'm just saying.
Because it's go ahead, Gary.
I'm just gonna throw one name out there and then I'll let it go. Chris Middleton started off in the G League, and then now he talking about he turned out $40 million. So he put in some work somewhere.
Hey, he put in work and won a ring. Wait. You want to talk about people who not just G League, majority of Miami was undrafted. You want to talk about someone put in work? Jimmy Butler put in work.
Is he gonna always be the most underrated all-star in the league? I mean, because he's not never going. You ain't gonna never put him in that category of the top level to win a ring. And I don't think he's gonna win one in Miami.
No, it'll still be Mike.
Oh, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler.
It'll still be Mike
if,
Conley.
man, if Dame go there, he winning.
If who?
If Dame go.
I agree. But it'll still be Mike Conley. Mike Conley's having to be
About
a
Dame
good point guard behind great point guards.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, about Dame going to Miami. Did they make him a championship contender?
They were a contender this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Lillard. So, I mean, I can see him making him much better and whatnot.
Man, listen.
I think I really feel like Butler's his leadership is kind of sketchy sometimes and whatnot. And what I mean is he like times he just need to say, you know what, y'all follow me. Come on, I'm gonna lead you. Let's go. And it's like he'll come out and he'll pass it 10 times. But then on some nights he come out and say, hey, hop on my back and I'm gonna take you to the promised land.
I think that's not having a third score though. Tyler Hero was generally that guy. And so if you don't have that guy, you're gonna suffer. Like think about the spacing right now. On one side of the floor, him and Bam running the pick and roll. On the other side of the floor, Tyler Hero or Jimmy spotting up. That's a hell of a set right there.
You want to get rid of Hero. You ain't gonna be able to keep Hero and bring Litter, are you?
I mean, they're gonna have to trade somebody, so it's gonna be that young player. But
yeah,
people also want the other guy that balled out in the playoffs too. So I don't know. you may be able to get away with it. But man, Bam and Dame off a pick and roll with the way Dame shoot the ball, and Bam can roll and compromise bigger men. I mean, because it was really tough to me to watch Bam. Bam 6'7", 6'8".
Right.
I thought he was legit like 6'10", 6'11". He's 6'8", 6'7", and he playing against 7-footers, man. That's a hell of a feat, man. Because them dudes is long, and you seen what Jokic was doing to him. It was just physical. It's just like I only watched the one game, and I said, damn, this dude. It's hard, man. Bro, the times I played against guys that are really kind of elite, it's hard to, you can't, it's like, man, you trying to stop it, but you can't. Ain't nothing you can do because they just better than you.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Because once you get at that level, you're just trying to go to your spot. Once you get to your spot, can't nobody touch you on your spot. So last word, in the trade we miss on basketball, after we beat the death tonight. What else we got on basketball, Q?
Let me look, see what's going on in this draft.
No, ain't nothing on the draft.
Oh, so y'all were talking about Dame because the Trailblazers drafted Scoot Henderson, who's a point guard. The Twitters are like, well, maybe that means Damian may get traded to Miami because I said Portland drafted maybe the best draft. Portland drafted who would be the number one pick if Victor wasn't in this draft.
Well, that would have been Alabama, wasn't it?
No, Scoot Henderson.
Oh, okay.
So Scoot Henderson was in the G League, right? Yeah, so him and a bunch of other players have been playing G League players this whole time. You got people like Victor, who's been playing overseas who's been playing grown men since he's probably 14. And then you got the kid from college.
Okay. G, what you think? Did anybody making the moves to make you think a finals run? We've got to as a rep the
Lakers
basketball.
drafted a point guard.
Huh?
The Lakers drafted a point guard. Too.
Okay. Who?
I didn't even think they still had a first round pick. They traded everyone away to get LeBron. Then
Jalen Hood Scafino from Indiana.
Oh, okay. Okay. Any move that make you change the mind of who gonna win the chip next year? Any move as we wind the basketball sports down?
I mean, I think it's still too early to kind of make any kind of predictions. I think you got to still see how the rest of these rosters fill out. But as of right now, I don't see any change in what teams have done to kind of change who I think would be in the finals.
6'5". What about you, Dave? Huh? What you say, Quinn?
No, you do 6'5", but got a 6'10" wingspan.
RJ, what you think? Anybody as you wrap the last with the basketball? Any moves anybody made you think gonna change move the needle?
What's really bad about basketball is really tough to look at. It takes about maybe 3 years for those guys to get really good, like to a level where they're efficient enough to score and contribute and understand the game, right? So now I don't think anything is going to be accomplished through the draft. It's one of those things that's a building block because we don't see players just come in and go in the NBA no more. It's a process for them to learn the adult game, and it's different.
Okay. What about you, Bell?
I don't know.
Okay.
We talking about just last thoughts, like show's ending, or?
Well, I was about to wind it down. I was about to ask you about y'all talk a little bit about boxing. I don't know about boxing.
Oh, so y'all on boxing. I will say this one last thing about basketball. Then
well, you get the last word. You get the last word of basketball. Then we can switch up. Right to it.
Until the NCAA changes something about talent-wise or one and done, whatever the rule is, the league is going to be run by either players from Europe and overseas because they've been playing adults and top level talent since they was in high school, or players like Scoot Henderson who went to the G League straight out of high school. Until NCAA changes that, the best players are either going to be 4-year seat, 4-year, 3 years college players got in draft, European players, or players from the G League, because they're more
I
ready
don't
than
think
college
you're gonna
players.
get no more 3-year college players going to the draft. I'm with you on that. It's gonna be G League or overseas. And what do you think, Playmaker? As we wind it down.
I'll go to Bear right now. I gotta catch up on something.
What do you think, Bear?
They're never gonna go back. I mean, it's gonna stay where it's at. The league make too much money off these kids coming out and whatnot. The G League is doing all right for the kids that want to go over there and play. The NCAA is almost like they don't want to deal with the headache of the possibility of schools getting in trouble for breaking the rules. So why not let the kid go?
Ain't no rules now, Bear.
Well, you're right. You're right. So
Ain't no rules now. Hey, they got a quarterback for Tennessee that's making $11 million a year, man. $11 million, man.
And you know what I was saying? I was saying right now, the NCAA, I was saying this a few weeks ago, this is one. They are meeting and discussing how do we let this get out of hand.
Oh, you got our hand. But we're gonna wrap it down with basketball, I think. But I do want to do. I know we want to add different sports because I'm actually waiting for football season to start. But in between time, we're gonna try to bring a little edge of sports. So I'm gonna ask Ron, anybody talk about the Quinn? You watch UFC? What's going on in the UFC world?
Let me look. So like between now and August, there's like a fight every weekend. The next big fight is it's Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley. So Aljamain Sterling, he's been a champ for a few years. He won it on a DQ because he was losing a fight, won on DQ from an illegal knee. They had a rematch. He beat the champ, so official champ. Then I think he won 3 straight, just beating another former champ convincingly. And now he's facing the next should be rising star in UFC in Sean O'Malley.
Cool. Ron, what's going on in the boxing world, sir? Before we wrap it down, anything new?
Oh man, the last maybe about month and a half. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, last month and a half has been awesome. You got a Tank Davis fight with Ryan Garcia, and that was a really good showing.
Oh,
you get ready to have a fight that everybody's been waiting for, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. That's going to be a great fight. And Canelo just made a fight with Jermell Charlo, one of the Charlo twins. And I was texting back and forth while we was online with one of our partners, the dude I do the Sunday night, we do the Sunday night joint. We talk about shows. Man, I think Canelo cherry picks his fighters. Charlo has had 2 years of personal issues, mental health, things of that nature that have impacted him. But it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be like if Charlo can train and do what he's supposed to do, it's going to be a great fight. And we're going to finally see Canelo really, like, besides Beal beat him to death. Beal beat him like he thumped him. But I think it's going to be some additionally good fights because the lightweight division is stacked too. You got Tank, you got Devin Haney, Tank Davis out of Baltimore, Devin Haney who fights on the West Coast. And you got Shakur Stevenson from New Jersey, man. Excellent fighter, man. Excellent fighter. Really skilled. My man actually had a kid, man. What's crazy about boxing? It's a little different than any other sport. His fighter, I think at one point in time, beat Tank Davis in amateurs and has not been able to take off in the pros. So you know, we have some real good conversations in terms of the fighting thing, but hey man, it's an amazing season in boxing. They are finally making these fights that people have been calling for years.
Cool.
So I'm
Bam,
happy.
you wanna jump in
Wait,
there?
if I can come in because you caught me off guard, so now I actually gotta list up. First, I do want to mention Amanda Nunes, who probably one of the best women's fighters, period, retired a couple weeks ago. And she was a double champion, 2 divisions, meaning since she's retired, one of the divisions is going to go under because she cleaned out the division entirely. And the next division, we don't even know what's going to happen with that one because, like I said, no champ. And the next big fight is July 8th, a featherweight fight between Alexander Volkanovski and Yair Rodriguez. Alexander Volkanovski is, I believe, the number 2 pound for pound all time. Number 1 being John Jones, who just came back.
Cool. Bam, you want to jump in there? I know you do a little boxing, a little UFC. Well, you want to jump in there?
Oh, I'm like Ron. I'm excited about the Spence and Crawford fight. And I also want to see Stevenson and Haney. It just kind of looks to me that Haney kind of dodging Stevenson right now.
Right.
It's almost
Yeah,
like
he don't want that smoke.
Yeah, he
He don't want that smoke.
Yeah, but
he is faded. He is faded maybe around the 10th round of the last 2 fights he's been in, and had to really put on a rally performance to really kind of. I mean, they say he won the fight handily. I seen some rounds that he took some punishment against Lomo.
Oh yeah, I don't.
But I mean, and you know, I don't like Teofimo's stance on how he looks at black people.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. The talent is undeniable.
Yeah.
Like he thumped that boy Josh Wilson, whatever his name is, and I seen him when he beat up Lomo. He literally beat Lomo up. Like he beat him up. That's the type of dude like you like Tank. Somebody like Tank or that guy. If they beat a skilled boxer like him up, that's what I think is going to happen to Crawford. I think Earl's just a bigger man, and I think he's just going. Man, it's going to be. Man, that's going to be vicious. Earl reminds me of Marvin Hatton. I mean, but he just mean, dog. Hey, if you broke, think about this. When somebody says, they're going to break your face, he's literally broke 3 men's face in the ring. Kell Brook, who was the champ. God dang, he broke Ugas. He just broke his orbital bone, and there was another guy. He broke his orbital bone. Come on, man. Hey, man, that ain't even a
I don't
game.
know if I'm boxing you or not.
I know.
I'm just being honest.
I know.
They say that dude hit like they say that dude hit like a heavyweight, man.
Wow.
I mean,
and I think they both gonna come out. I think it's gonna be a slugfest because it's been so anticipated. And they both.
Well, we gonna have you guys on the watch on that to pay attention to that boxing world. Try to add a little dimension. All right, guys, we're gonna wind it down. Playmaker, you get what's your last word on the sports scene tonight? You little docile on it. What's your last word on the sports scene tonight?
Oh, I mean, I think the NBA does a great job of keeping people interested in the game after the season. I mean, here it is after the finals. Season's not even started, and we're still got a lot to talk about with basketball. So I think the NBA has done a great job of marketing their product even in the off season.
Q, last word.
On top of UFC, as my last words, Demetrius Johnson is the best UFC fighter of all time.
who?
Okay.
Demetrius
Who
Johnson. Demetrius Johnson. Hey, he has the record for most title defenses. And if you think who I think you're thinking of, that dude is a cokehead.
Okay, hold on, Ron. Your last word. You can respond to Q. Your last word. I know you
respond to Q.
Hey, your last word.
John Jones is the best.
Cokehead.
I don't care whether he's a cokehead. It ain't got nothing to do. It ain't. Well, he has had situations with performance enhancing drugs, but the way that people don't realize how good Leo Machota is. Leo Machota is like awesome. And he choked that dude out. Some of the guys he's beaten, man, he just took their heart. Dude different, man. He star-crossed. A lot of these great fighters are they different, man. And they're a little bit crazy. They do crazy stuff.
Yeah, another thing. When
Hold
I
on, Quinn.
knew
We
he
gotta
was
wrap
a
it up,
GOAT,
Quinn. Hold on. They get the last week. That's wind it down. What you gonna say though? You got two. Give you a minute. Go ahead and you started. Go ahead.
I knew Demetrius Johnson was GOAT when he broke the record for most title defenses with a flying armbar in the 5th round.
Crazy.
Like German suplex, threw him up in the air, caught him on the way down in an armbar.
Crazy. RJ, your last words, buddy.
Hey
RJ,
man, it's a lot. It's a lot of guys that are extremely skilled fighters. I'm not going to sit here and say that Demetrius Johnson is not a good fighter. What I am going to say is that what I've seen from John Jones, I can't think of anybody in a combat sport that I would surely put money on and believe that I would win, but him and Earl Spence.
Cool. Bear, last word.
Hey man, as far as the season and dealing with basketball has been a blast. Well, now I talk a lot of noise, but it is what it is when it comes to the game. I realize the change. I mean, I guess you can't help but see the change, but I also would love to see them play a more traditional game. But hey, it is what it is. Young men getting rich. Can't be nothing but proud about that. So
Yeah, facts. Yo, guys, so I seen a clip with Gary Payton. And Gary Payton was saying how the leagues when they play was a little tougher than the league. Now, and what he based it on is back in the day, you couldn't go, you want to play ball, you had to go outside to the park. We don't go to the park no more. The parks are empty, guys. The basketball goes in. The young fellas, get out there, climate control gym, get you a basketball, go to your local park.
Yeah.
Where you gotta deal with the elements. This is my last word, sir. Where you gotta deal with the elements and go out there and play this sport of football or basketball. The point I'm making is, guys, I don't care what sport you play, get outside and play and go into the playground.
get
Hey
some
guys,
guns.
great, huh?
Get some guns. Skin your knees up.
Yeah, get outside and go into the playground for a little bit, guys. And it do you some good. Anyway, hey, great show. We wind down the sports. And again, guys, may your next move be the game changer. Peace.